Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Bazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. With us, welcome once again to Sportsline Trivia. Bob Tathern here, along with Mike Pavlik. And Mike, the show with a bit of a somber, overtone, the passing of Chuck Noll,
Yes.
and Tony Gwynn, batting champion 8 times.
Tony Gwynn struck out in 10,000 plus at bats, less than 450 times in his career.
So the ratio brings it to what?
And now,
1 in 20?
yeah, and now
Less than that.
Yeah, and today, if you strike out 25% of the time, that's good. It's unbelievable. But he had cancer. Snuff, I believe, was the big culprit with him. That
Chewing tobacco.
Snuff, whatever kind he used. But ended up with salivary gland cancer out of it. And only 54 years old, way too young. What a great
way
hitter.
too young
My
for
goodness.
sure. Well, the Pirates off on a Monday, the day that we're videotaping this particular talk show, and those watching on a Thursday night will have seen maybe a couple of games go by prior to.
They play Thursday afternoon.
Thursday
So
afternoon.
the entire Red Series will be behind us. We have we did our thing that they're in the span of 26 games that they are playing. That we came to the conclusion last week that they needed to win at least 18 of them to go 18-8 out of those 26 against these weak teams. Well, they've started off 5-2, so they're off to a good start.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they should be 6-1.
Well, we blew one for
yeah,
sure.
but then again, they probably shouldn't have won on Friday, but Polanco bailed them out. And Gregory Polanco has arrived finally since last we spoke and has not been a disappointment in the least bit. He's had a hit in every game he's played in. He had 5 hits on Friday night, including the extra inning home run that won the game after the bullpen almost blew it. And it was a pretty bad weekend for the bullpen, which is supposed to be a strength.
And Jason Grilli was very much upset. I think he was upset at the umpire, too.
Well, I think he probably had a book signing at the Publix or something and had to hurry up and get to it for this.
Yeah. In either case, folks, the Buccos now, as we speak, are a game under 500. And let's take a look. Before we go any further, rules and regulations on winning yourself a prize here in the program. When you call, you have the option. If you want a question, we'll give you one. Those of you a little bit bashful of trivia, stay away from, that aspect of it. You can win a prize at your household address but once a week. The Grand Salami or the Mystery Profile can only be won once in a calendar month, one or the other. And you can only try the Mystery Profile once in a calendar month, okay? 15 seconds for the multiple choice. What's that?
The U.S. scored in the first minute.
Okay. Multiple choice questions, 15 seconds. The Grand Salami's 20. And the Mystery Profile, clue by clue. And if you're a first-time caller, or if you have not called in at least a year, if you get an answer correct, we'll give you more than one prize. Answers to the questions you can get on my website, doubledribblebob.com. And I also do a sports history and nostalgia radio program on Saturday mornings, WAVL in Apollo. They are 9:10 on the AM dial, and it's at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning.
That's correct.
So lots of things are happening. We're anxious to talk with the folks who call the program, but first we do for break number one.
If anybody wants to talk World Cup, I'm here for you. Now, I know that that's probably a shot in the dark out there, but the U.S. have scored already. They've lost 2 times in a row in the World Cup. They've been basically knocked out by Ghana. And Clint Dempsey scored in the first minute, so they're already winning 1-0. So
Okay.
I'm very happy about that. And I only watch soccer every 4 years. I'm not one of those soccer crazy people, but I enjoy the World Cup. The spectacle of it's crazy to me. I really enjoy it. So yay! If I have my flag, I'd wave it.
Okay.
There we go.
Back in a flash right after these brief commercial announcements. All right, I just heard a red flag.
A red flag. Let's talk about Chuck Noll really fast. I know we're going
Yeah.
to have callers lit up there, but for people that, for those the younger viewers out there that weren't around,
To know what he did.
what it was like before, Bob. What it was like before he got here. We
You
all
had
know
Bill
Steeler
Austin,
Nation.
you had Bill Austin, you had Mike Nixon, and I don't know what kind of football they were really playing. Because in the days when Fran Rogel was there as a running back,
Hey, diddle,
good,
Rogel
a
over the
good
moon.
running back he was, but
They had
the
some
line
good
couldn't
players.
do the job.
They had some good players,
Yeah.
but they just didn't have enough good players. And as bad as things were, and what people might find hard to believe is that before Noel got here, that the Pirates were number 1 in this town, and the Steelers were number 2. And
Boy, has that changed.
that changed in 8 days in 1970.
So where does hockey fit in?
8 days in 1972, that changed.
Excluding 2014, where does
Penguins are. I still think the Penguins are 2 right now, and I think the Pirates
are
are
a
3.
little
but
bit underneath?
The Pirates are making their move to take some of that back, I think. But
All right, break time. We're going to do that quick and come back in a moment. Stay with us. Since 1914, the local area has relied on the Resevich family of funeral homes in deepest times of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley, now 100 years strong and still doing things right. Its reputation and unquestionable service now continues with a 4th generation. The Resevich family of funeral homes, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
You know what's important in any business is the amount of experience you got behind that business, and you've got 40 years at Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox. Let them help you in the selection of your next pre-owned vehicle. Tower Auto Sales. Just buy it. Call Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202. Okay. Very quickly, let's jump in. We're going to grab Mr. Tampa Bay tonight to lead us off. Last week, I know we had him on forever, and we were kind of losing him in here.
hey,
How you doing there?
I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me today?
yes.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. I'm in town. That's why I'm calling.
Oh, okay.
We lost 2 great people today, or in the last few days, and it's a shame. They left. Tony Gwynn, I just found out just about 10 minutes ago about his passing.
Right.
But I think Alvarez, I'm going to talk about the Pirates real fast, and I'm going to do a trivial. I know you got a lot of people on the line. I think Alvarez needs to learn how to bat like Tony Gwynn did. And I think what the Pirates need to do with him, put him on the bench for a few days like they did Marte and let him get his head together and go from there. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think we're beginning to develop an actual problem with him over there, and I worry about his defense and his hitting usually go hand in hand, good and bad. And now with this throw, making errors every once in a while, and he's never been a great third baseman, but he would make the great play and he'd throw one away occasionally. But now it's turning into a Steve Sachs thing, and I'm starting to get a little concerned. And I mean, you take a guy like Ryan Zimmerman, who played past tense third base for Washington, who was a Gold Glove third baseman in the National League for many years. And he has now recently come back off the disabled list, and they've had to put him in left field because they just can't put him at third base anymore because he can't throw the ball anymore. And if a guy that good can have a problem that is that severe, that they have to move his position, a Gold Glove third baseman all-star, that they have to move to left field because they can't trust his throwing, then, you know, it just makes you worry a little bit. And I hope that it's something that he gets over. And I think it's something as simple as that if he hits a couple balls out of the ballpark, I think his throwing will get better. And I'm not kidding about that. I really think that the whole package is together on him right now. And you might have the best bet. Maybe if he sat a game or two, take a couple of days off to get his head straight.
You know, we had, not to interrupt you, Mike, we had a great pitching performance on Sunday.
Vance Worley pitched great.
From Worley. Now, here's a guy that's been around Philadelphia, and I think it was San Diego or Twins. Okay. Yeah. But what an effort with this guy. And tell me something. Why didn't we bunt with the bases loaded? And I know that normally Russell Martin doesn't, but it's almost a guarantee you're going to push.
Well, the infield was in, which can be an issue. And unless it's a suicide, it's going to be an automatic out. But it's going to hit the ball in the outfield. I mean, it's as simple as that. And then here's a pitcher that couldn't throw the ball over the plate. And all of a sudden, he threw 4 or 5 strikes in a row, which I couldn't, you know, and he kept fouling them off. It's like, that can't possibly happen. It did. And then he's got Barmas up next, swinging pitches in the dirt, because he decided he had to pull Josh Harrison for defensive purposes. So, you know, it was one of those games that you could just see it coming down the pike, and even Tony Watson, and then, you know, they make the play. And Ike Davis isn't off the hook here either, because that wasn't exactly the worst possible pick to make at first base on that throw by Alvarez. Pedro's gone. He's adjusted. He was throwing it into the stands. Now he's bouncing them over. So you can tell that it's in his head.
He's compensating.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, here's some Thunders we're talking.
Yes.
Yeah, they really need to come up with a solution on third base, because he's having an error. He's having an error every 2 games.
Well,
every 2 games in the last 6 games, he's had an error.
He's got 15, and if you think about it, that's on pace for, you know,
well, 60
over 30,
games.
Over 30.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yeah.
And, I mean, he could be a 30-30 man, 30 homers, 30 errors. Yay. He's going to have to pick up the homers, though, to get to that. But
he needs to be dropped down to number 8, too, and pitch at batting. He's just getting worse.
He needs to hit enough. He needs to hit enough that he hits cleanup. I think this is what you guys are going to see happen, though. I think when Walker comes back, Walker's going to hit cleanup. I don't think they're going to mess with the first 3 guys now. I think they like what they have with Polanco, Marte, and McCutchen in that order. And I think that Walker's going to slide in at 4.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I think Walker's going to slide.
Happens,
he's not going to slide in at 4. He can't. He bats right-handed on a lefty pitcher, and that's not right. He should just stay batting left-handed.
Well, he's actually batting over 300 right-handed this year.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he is. He's actually turned that around a little bit. He worked on it in spring training and worked on it in the offseason. And I mean, he doesn't hit for a whole lot of power right-handed, but he has gotten better. So and another thing it does too, when you have a switch hitter in that spot, and if you'd have a lefty after him, it kind of messes with what the other manager wants to do when it comes to relief pitcher time, and he has to maybe use 2 pitchers for that instead of just 1.
Hey, you know, also I found out last night, I heard the Immaculate Reception in 1972 was the first playoff win in Steeler history.
It was?
You guys know that? It was the first victory, the first play of postseason victory was the Immaculate Reception in 72.
It was.
You know, I was there and didn't see the play.
You missed it too, you and Art Rooney.
I'll tell you what, my dad and I, God rest his soul, we're both very impatient people. And when it looked
impatient, Bob?
And when it looked like Oakland had it sealed, we were up in the press box. My dad got a pass with myself. Both of us up in the press box, and we just said, you know what? Let's beat traffic.
And you got the elevator.
Were
you in the same elevator as the chief?
We were out on the flats of 3 Rivers walking toward the car when a paper boy, who's the only living soul out there, had that little transistor. He's with his bike and all the newspapers stacked in that basket. And he's jumping up and down. And we heard the roar
inside
from the stadium. And we asked the kid, what happened? He says, Franco just scored. We both looked at each other.
I would have.
gosh.
I'll tell you what I would have done. I would have never admitted to a soul that I left. That's number one. And
Well,
if I were you, you and your dad should have made a pact that it's like no one knows. We take this to our grave, and
Yeah.
that's it. I would have never admitted that I left.
Well,
All right,
sorry,
guys, I'm going
Dad.
to take a trivial question. I'll take a multiple choice.
All right, Michael, go ahead.
Multiple
We'll
choice. Let's do it.
Start him
Here
out.
we go. This will be baseball for you.
Jeez.
Who holds the American League record for the longest consecutive game hitting streak by a switch hitter? The American League record for the most consecutive game hitting streak by a switch hitter. Was it Chili Davis, Jose Offerman, Mickey Mantle, or Roberto Alomar?
Roberto Alomar.
No, that is not correct. You went good by picking a Hall of Famer, but that's not it. It's Jose Offerman, of all people, and I'm going to guess that he did it when he was with Boston. And, of course, Keith Olbermann had the greatest line. We were talking about Ayers. Keith Olbermann had the greatest line about Jose Offerman when he said, how do you spell Offerman? O-F-F and 56 E's. Because I believe one
All
year
right, guys.
he made
Thank you very much.
56 errors. Thanks,
Yes,
Mr.
bye-bye.
Tampa.
Yep.
We'll get into football here pretty
right.
soon with him. I know he'll want to. Eventually, I'm going to want to ask him what he thinks of those horrible new Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniforms, which I just think are a bit over the top.
Mike, we have a decision to make.
We have. Well, I love to see.
Our next two participants,
That's right.
Terry and Tony.
Okay.
If we take the break when we should, we're going to cut somebody off. Awkward situation.
Why don't we
here,
take
so-
the break now?
Yes, we're going to do that.
As Pip would say, this is not network television.
And boy, was he right. We'll take a break. We're coming back with more in a moment. Stay with us.
Mogie's Irish Pub on Leechburg Road in Lower Borough has 16-ounce Bud Light aluminum bottles for just $2.50 during all Pirates games. Stop at a Mogie's Irish Pub on Leechburg Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tatterns Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
What is it that makes a Husqvarna dealer a Husqvarna dealer? Well, just look close at the engineering in our outdoor power equipment. We're known for high performance and reliability in everything we make. So is it any wonder your Husqvarna dealer is also known for high performance and reliability in everything they do? With a nationwide network of Husqvarna dealers, there's one just around the corner.
Ernie's Tavern on Brackenridge Avenue in Brackenridge has 225 Budweiser and Bud Light bottles every Tuesday and Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Stop by Ernie's Tavern and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Okay, folks, we've been talking about Mattios for quite some time, and it's always great to have him here in the program. And Mattios, of course, he started out in Tarentum. They moved up to the top of the hill there, Brackenridge Heights, doing a great job. Yeah, great location, a lot of traffic, and great menu items, along with their pizza and gyro sandwiches, subs and hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and a lot more. And the Iron Man hoagie, their signature sandwich. So give them a try if you haven't done so yet. Give them a call, 724-904-7312. Let's get back. We're going to jump over to Terry and see what's on Terry's mind tonight. By the way, who's running for mayor of Cleveland? Swisher?
I don't know. Could be, what's his name, the third baseman, Lonnie Chisenhall. He's only hitting about 385.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Yeah, well, they touted him big for years, and after 2 or 3 or 2.5 seasons of doing nothing, he finally caught on. But
didn't they originally have him penciled in for second base, and then Kipnis came in and took his place?
No, you're thinking of Cord Phelps, I believe.
Cord Phelps, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Hey, you might remember, Mike, I don't think Bob was on the set at this time, but a few weeks ago I called in and I was complaining about John Wayner slurring his S's.
Yes.
Okay, well, a buddy of mine calls me up, and I said, I can't stand to listen to him. He slurs his S's. My buddy says, I turned my sound off. I muted my TV. He says, you know how a lot of times when you mute a TV, for the hearing impaired people, you get all the words typed across the bottom of the screen?
Right.
And they're late.
Yeah, even the slurred S's were even typed slurred in the TV crawl that goes across the screen. So I thought that was pretty funny.
A strike, S-C-H-T-R-I-K-E.
Yeah, exactly. Schlid. Okay, let's see. Well, I wanted to mention that, they did a lot of stuff on Indians broadcasts about Father's Day, and they were talking to Terry Francona about Tito Francona and so on. Well, one time Terry as a kid was in the dugout, and some other kids were leaning down over from the stands and said, hey, give us some bats and we'll give you some money. And so Terry gave them a couple of bats, and they gave him, $10 or something. And turns out, though, those were players' game bats, and he got into a lot of trouble for that.
Wow.
Another time his dad brought him into the clubhouse. He was running around in there, and Gene Mauch was the manager, and he came out and yelled at the top of his lungs, get the blank out of my blanking clubhouse, so everybody was laughing about that. They said that's the reason why Terry is so good to kids today, because he couldn't stand how he was treated by Gene Mauch. But I came across something about Gene Mauch. He's the winningest manager in history never to win a pennant. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it was like 1,900 wins or something.
Wow, I'll tell you what. He had 2 absolute glorious chances in '64 with the Phillies when they had that big lead with about a week to go, and he kept pitching Chris Short Chris Short and Robin Roberts back-to-back every game or whatever it was. Blew their arms out. Had no one else left, and they choked it down the stretch and lost to the Cardinals. And then he was also the manager of the Angels in 1985 when the Angels had the Red Sox down 3-1, and Dave Henderson hit that famous home run off of Donnie Moore that pulled out Game 5 for Boston. And in that game with 2 outs in the 9th inning, the mounted police were ringing at Angels Stadium with the police on them, waiting to stop the crowd from coming onto the field. The Angels were that close to winning the pennant, and then Dave Henderson hit that unbelievable home run, and the Red Sox went on to win the pennant, and I think it was '86, and go on to the World Series, and then lose eventually to the Mets in the heartbreaker their own selves. But yeah, that was he was that close twice. And he was a very good manager, but he just couldn't get over the hump.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Philadelphia is the only team ever to fire a manager while the team was in first place.
That would have been '83. They fired Pat Corrales when they were in first place.
That's right, Pat.
Barely 500 in first place over the Pirates. The Pirates contended that year in '83, and they hired Paul Owens to take over, and he took on, it was the Wheeze Kid Phillies in 1983 with a bunch of 40-year-olds that used to play for Cincinnati. They had Joe Morgan and Pete Rose and Tony Perez all on that team in Philadelphia in 1983. John Denny won the Cy Young. He was the only guy like less than 40, I think. But they did that, and they ended up winning the pennant that year.
The new guy the Pirates brought up, I can't think of his name right now, right field, hit 5 hits in the same game.
Gregory Blanco, yes.
He's the... how did I want to phrase it? He did that sooner than anybody in Major League history in the modern era, I guess is the best way to put it.
We were kidding at the house. We were watching at the time that announcement was made, and I told my wife, I said, the one thing they may yet bring up is the fact that Dino Rostelli had eight home runs in his first 10 games, and then fizzled like a bad firecracker.
He did. He did.
He was the talk of the town.
He got off to one of the great starts ever, did he not?
Yeah, first time around the league, and then the second time, for infinity.
That happens.
Hey, 40 years ago, 1974, Gaylord Perry, pitching for the Indians, pitched 15 innings.
Wow.
Okay, a couple weeks later, in fact, 40 years ago last Saturday, Boston was playing the Angels, and the pitchers were Louis Tiant for Boston and Nolan Ryan for the Angels. Nolan Ryan pitched 13 innings, Louis Tiant 14 1/3. Nolan Ryan's pitch count for that game, 235.
Oh, my God, they'd have a heart attack now.
Tiant threw 195, and somebody interviewed him about a week ago about this, and he said, I didn't even feel tired.
Well, it's weird. It would take a guy 3 starts to pitch that much now.
Yeah, if not more.
A good game. Well, Bob Walk said the other day, half jokingly, that if you pitch 7 innings now, that's a complete game now. That okay, you've pitched 7 innings, you're done, and now we're going to go on.
He's looking for a name.
Right, you're going to try to figure out a name. They said they were going to try.
I got one for him.
What's that?
I'm going to call him.
Okay, there you go. I'll let that go.
Yeah, well, that's about all I have, guys.
Okay. Let's do some triv.
Yeah. Well, let me try the mystery profile if I can.
Sure. Let's give it a shot. Sponsored, of course, by the good folks at Daddy-O's. And you can try this once a month. And you can only win this or the mystery or the Grand Salami once a month. So, here we go. Started off. Clue number 1, if you get it right on the first one, of course, $100 in prizes. I am a Hall of Fame quarterback who also played shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals, for a St. Louis Cardinal minor league team.
Well, nobody comes to mind from that, and I know little about football players. George Blanda.
No, we'll skip that one. We go to clue number 2. After my National Football League career, I starred in a series of westerns entitled King of the Texas Rangers.
Jeez.
So if you went to the Saturday afternoon movies or whatever, they had those weekly
serials, huh? Huh. Boy, I don't know.
Well, let's go to number 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I coached the Houston Oilers, the New York Titans, who then became one day the New York Jets. So basically, he coached 2 professional football league franchises.
Weeb Eubank.
No. we're gonna go down to another one. He was the last surviving member of the inaugural class of National Football League inductees to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, gee. What year was that, or are you not allowed to say that?
No. Gosh, what are we looking at? I'm going to get, when did they start, actually? The 50s?
It's been over 50. It's in the early 60s. I think it was
Early 60s?
I think it was the same. I think it might be 50 years so.
Yeah.
62, 63.
Yeah, that doesn't much help.
Well,
Chuck Knoll, go ahead.
Yeah. You're going to hate yourself when you get this.
Not necessarily, Bob.
What'd he say?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Here we go. Final clue, the Tinker Toy. We'll send you out something if you get it. They called me Slingin' Sammy.
A Bob.
Yay.
All right, we'll get you a Tinker Toy, and we'll send that out.
Just as you correctly answered the question,
I already have a Tinker Toy.
Just as you correctly answered, we were rained down with a big clap of thunder, so that they're paying attention up there.
There you go.
Thanks,
Terry, thanks for the participation.
Thanks, Bye.
As we jump over now to Tony from Lower Arnold. Tony, we thank you for the wait.
Yeah, it's been a wait, all right.
It has.
I mean, considering I thought I was first, but that's all right. I don't got much to say now. You guys went through it all. So I'll take Ranch Salami number 1.
I'll take whatever for 50. Oh,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So,
what I want to talk about, and if you think I'm crazy, just think about it. I'm talking about a superstar, and he is a superstar, but he is a selfish superstar. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't care how many home runs he hits, what his batting average is, how many Golden Gloves, how many MVPs. But when you have played 69 games and you run like a road runner and only have 9 stolen bases because you don't want to get thrown out, you don't know how many games this guy's cost us over the years. He's been there. He cost us one yesterday. He was on first base. He didn't steal. There was a base hit. If he'd have stole like he's supposed to, that was our 3rd run. But he didn't do it. There was a base hit. He got the second, and then they didn't score.
And he finished up, I believe, on 3rd.
Yeah, I think that's where he ended up. Okay?
Right.
9 times he has stolen base. 9 lousy times. And I think he's 9 for 9. I'm not sure. I don't think he's got thrown out yet. But
you're speaking of Andrew McCutchen, of course.
Oh, you're kidding me. You got it.
I wrote that down and slid it over the bob while you were talking because I knew where you were going. But that's
now he has 9. Martin, which is a catcher, all right, a catcher now, has 3.
Right.
And Martin actually has 16. Gabby Hayes Sanchez, which is a Clydesdale, has 2. And then let's go down to the other Clydesdale. Alvarez has 5.
Yeah,
Alvarez is only 4 behind McCutchen.
Yeah.
We have 3 Greyhounds on the team now. And actually 16 stolen bases for Marte. I guess it's all right, you know. I mean,
considering he really hasn't hit very well most of the season.
Yeah,
right?
you know, considering that. And, you know, not naturally. And, you know, and the guy is our leadoff man. Well, he has a couple.
And he's got to figure it out right now too. He's going to work his way through.
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving time.
About that, yeah.
But now this, you know, our manager Bozo of the year last year was questioned about this, and he looked like he was angry about it. But he said he's on his own. Who is managing this team?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're the manager. What do you mean he's on it? Well, okay, if he's on his own, that's great, but he's not stealing. He's costing you runs, a lot of runs.
Flash the sign, exactly. If
because
you want him
he's
to go,
selfish. He don't want to get thrown out. See, that doesn't look good on his resume when he's going for MVP. You know, MVP means you're an all-around player. I'm sorry. If he's on his own and he's not stealing the bases, get on him about it.
Tony, I had mentioned earlier, I thought when the Pirates had the bases loaded in the top of the 10th, that even if it wasn't Martin who would have laid down the bunt, certainly the batter after.
Well, one thing, I know the infield was in, number 1. But they never do that, so I think it would have been a surprise if he'd have laid it down. But if you noticed, he hit 4 foul balls, weak foul balls, down the third base line. And I kept saying to myself, he's going to hit it right to the third baseman. I guarantee you he's going to hit it, and boom, there it is, home to first. I mean, try something. You know, this happens too many times. I mean, you know, a lot of games we had bases loaded, didn't score a run. Couldn't hit the ball to the right side if they were even playing back with 1 out, or couldn't get a fly ball. The only guy that did that pretty good was Bird. But, hey, he ain't with us. He's with who, Philadelphia? You know? And it's just pathetic. You know, try something. Let me see. My boy was telling me yesterday. I can't think of their power hitter, St. Louis. But he came up to bat the power hitter, and they shifted. They shifted everything to the one side. He laid down a bunt. It was wide open. And he's you know, he has their most home runs. I can't remember what his name was. But anyhow, he laid down a bunt. You know, here's a base hit, take it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you may find this interesting, Tony, and you know my feeling on this. I think all this shifting is gimmicky, and I don't like it.
Oh, it gives me a headache.
Me too. But I saw an article, and it was posted by someone who's a big person into the news stats and the sabermetrics and everything. And the study, and so far, and they've kept numbers from 2010 all the way up to now to 2014. And it turns out that, you know, in 2010 they hardly shifted at all, maybe just for a power hitter. And now a guy comes up. now a guy comes up for the minors and they shift from him. I don't know how they know where he's going to hit the ball when he has never played a game in the major leagues, but they'll shift already. But anyway, the stats showed that on ground balls, that the batting average on ground balls hit has not gone down even with the shifts. That actually this year, that the batting average is 224, when in 2010 it was 220. It's actually higher now. So either they don't work at all and they're just overkill, which I think, or guys are learning to hit the ball against the shift and hit it the other way, which I think will be hilarious. And in 5 years, everybody will be back where they should have been.
That's it. It just drives me nuts. But hey,
Tony, do we have another 5 years?
You know who started that? That's whatchamacall from the Cardinals.
I think it was Matt Adams. Huh? I think it's Matt Adams, the big first baseman.
Who?
Matt Adams, the big first baseman.
Oh. I'm talking about the shift.
And I'll tell you what, even yesterday, Pedro hit one, took an outside pitch that was 6 inches outside, and hit it right where the third baseman should stand.
But that just goes to show you. But now, let's get on old Pedro. So they were talking about setting him on the bench, for a couple games. And the bench he should be sitting on is probably AA or AAA. That's the bench you should send him down and wake this guy up.
You're harsh today.
Oh, hey, believe me, there's a guy with all the talent in the world that stops at his neck. That pitch he threw in the ground, you said that Adams should have come up with. I'm not disputing that, but he threw it from the pitcher's mound. He was in for a bunt, and then the guy hit a one-hopper to him. He had all day to throw, and he throws it right into the ground. Because I watched it again. He twisted his wrist, and I don't know why. An easy throw, about half the distance that he usually throws, and he throws it into the ground.
Well, he's
right.
He's overcompensated now. He was throwing him into the stands. Everything was high, and now he's bouncing him into the ground. So
yeah, but that was like at third base or behind third base. This is at the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
You understand?
Well, he's got to figure it out.
He could have lobbed it over like a hand grenade. Probably got the guy. But this, and the pitches he swings at. I mean, this is ridiculous. I just don't understand. And then here's the best one. They take out Harrison for defensive purposes and put in.
They put in Clint Parmes, who never played second base before.
Take Alvarez out if you're thinking about defense.
It was funny when they did it. I said, when I saw that they did it, I thought that they moved Harrison to third base, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's what I would have done to keep his factor. So here comes Barfus, which I call him, because when you see him bat, you want to bark after he's done. Is what you do, like you said. It looks like a cricket game he's playing. The ball actually hit in front of the plate, and he's swinging at it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my God. I mean, how does these guys make... I'm going to tell you, the guys that found guys like him, and I'm not crazy about Ike. I don't like Ike too much.
Nah.
You see him blinking his eyes yesterday.
Yeah,
something wrong
what's
with
that
that.
all about?
Why didn't he call timeout?
That was contact issues is what that was.
I mean, it's just, and I mean, guys who find, some of the guys we have, and those guys should be lined up and shot, those scouts, without mercy. Not even a blindfold or a cigarette. But hey, you got to give them credit. These guys, somehow they made it here to the major leagues, and we got most of them.
Yeah.
But oh well. So I'm just about done, and I got Steelers. We're not going to know nothing for a while, but you hear a lot of good talk. But hey, I've heard that for years. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I just want to get through the next 3 days of minicamp and nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's the. There, you hit it right on the nose. Nobody gets hurt, and we'll see like that. But I like them picking up that Blunt, that big back. I think we needed a back like that since we lost, since Bettis retired.
Bettis was gone. I think so. I think they have two pretty good backs now. I want to be optimistic, but I need to wait to see him in training camp first. I need to see who drops like flies.
Now, how long ago did Bettis retire? 6 years?
At least. Oh, more than that, Tony. He's been up for the Hall of Fame 4 or 5 times.
Oh, well, it only took them that long to realize that they need that big back. Oh, well, that's pretty quick.
Well, they denied it the whole time, too.
Oh, I know they did. But
Tony, we got to get the trivia.
All right. I told you. Grand Salami. Number 1.
Number 1.
Bob,
I guess. What the heck?
All right.
I could lose at 1, like I could lose at 5. So.
All right, number 1 from the Grand Salami selection. Who is the only Major League right fielder to win back-to-back league MVP awards. 20 seconds.
Who is the only right fielder? You know, I think about 20, but I doubt if it's him because I know better than that. How about Dave Parker?
No. Would you believe?
He could have.
Yeah.
Huh?
Roger Maris is down in history as the only one.
1960 and 1961.
He won back-to-back.
Hey, Tony, thanks for the call.
Huh. That's all right. If you say so, I believe
Okay.
you.
Break time here in the
Thanks,
program.
Tom.
And we'll be back momentarily, and I think we've got Paul hooked up in the
We
audience.
have Paul ready to go, and we're going to talk about the dirty Ghanaians who are just beating up the Americans in this game, and it's really irritating me. They're carting them off, and they're falling like flies.
All right. Break time. Back in a flash. Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
For over 38 years and 3 generations, Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store. We have over 4 floors of living rooms, dining rooms, recliners, bedding, carpeting, and so much more.
You'll always find friendly personal service from one of the family.
And our prices consistently beat the competition, plus free local delivery and free setup guaranteed. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
One of the great features about Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox is the fact that they have 3 indoor showrooms. It is a full-service facility with an experienced staff. All makes and models are available, and they do feature Lexus products. You talk with them, and they'll get you one. Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Contact Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202. Okay, let's, you're going to jump, you're going to...
Good, we're ready for Paul.
Is he going to talk soccer?
I don't know, I didn't ask.
Okay.
I never know what Paul's going to talk about.
Paul, good evening.
Hey, how are you today?
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, only time I watch soccer is every 4 years also.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really don't care normally for it. I mean, but
Do they-
I
yeah,
really
do-
like this. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, when Pittsburgh had the indoor
The Spirit,
team,
I love the Spirit.
did you guys
I went.
go down and,
Yes. Yes,
take in the
absolutely
games?
loved it. It was
New York Arrows was always
Paul
on in it.
Child and Ian Sibbies and Stan Terlecki and all those guys. Oh, that was great fun. They had Spirit Sock Day, and then we gave out a pair of nice long Spirit socks. I had those. Great.
And WOR had the New York Arrows, I think, was
New
one
York
of the
Arrows and
Yeah.
there were the St. Louis Steamers,
Cincinnati Kids.
Cincinnati Kicks.
Oh, Kicks, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
All right, as long as we're throwing out names, just for the heck of it. Pittsburgh also had a professional tennis team, the Pittsburgh Triangles, which was perfect.
Right.
Perfect nickname.
Just talking about them the other day. actually.
I never did get down to watch them, but I did catch a little of the action on TV.
Now here's
A
my
little.
here's my Triangle stuff. I watched it on TV. I got autographs, a bunch of autographs, and I'll tell you how. I didn't get them personally. My dad worked in Monroeville at the time, and they practiced at the Racket Club in Monroeville was their headquarters. And he worked. My dad was Kmart guy. He worked in New Canaan, he worked in Allegheny Township up here, and he worked in Monroeville in between. And he would go and open other stores. Well, anyway, he worked in Monroeville for many years in the '70s, and people would go to the Holiday House or whatever. They would come in, and he would see, stars from entertainment or whatever. But the tennis players always came in. I had Ivan Gulagong's autograph. I had Vitas Gerulaitis' autograph. I mean, he was able to recognize who they were, and a lot of times they would come in their, in their jackets and whatever, and they would have the names on there, and you go, hey, my son would like your autograph, and bingo, I got all kind of great stuff just from that.
Did you get Christopher Lloyd's autograph?
I wish. She looks terrific, by the way. I don't know if you see it. For someone that's over 60 years old, she looks great.
Who did she marry? Jimmy Connors?
She never married him.
They dated, and I think they were engaged, and that was it.
Dump her?
He did, and she. There's stuff in the. He written a book that basically came out and said that she got pregnant and he made her have an abortion.
Oh my God!
And she had never come public with anything like that.
Right.
And he and she, I'll tell you what, she could pick him up. And then she was married to Greg Norman for about 20 minutes.
The golfer.
Right. And she thought that was, that they had really found something there. And all of a sudden one day, he said, look, I can't do this anymore. And it came completely out of the blue for her, and she didn't know what happened.
Wow.
She's available, Paul.
I'm taken.
She looks great, though. She really does.
Yeah, so did the Kings have their parade today, or?
I don't know if they did or not. I haven't paid attention to that. I know that they did win the other night. Great game, 5-game series. They tied the record. I wrote this down. They played 26 playoff games, which tied the record held by the Flames of 04 and the Flyers of 87. And they were the only team out of those 3 teams to actually win the Stanley Cup, playing all those games. They did 7-game series leading up.
I'm looking up something regarding the NBA, so you guys go ahead.
Oh, they had the NBA too.
NBA, not basketball, actually.
I watched that.
Yeah, and it's like the Rangers and the Kings. It's like they finish second and third, and it means regular season means nothing.
Paul, it's back to my thing about how, you have to, when the Penguins play the Rangers, it's like, oh good, the Penguins have to try to win. Now they have to win the division again. After you play the entire season, you win the division, and then you had to win the division again.
That's like during a regular season, it's like I don't want to be bothered with
Doesn't
hockey.
matter.
And then come April, it's like I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, but it just does not matter where you finish in the regular season. And the Kings have proven that they won the Cup 2 times out of the last.
And I can't
3
believe
years,
how
and they didn't win any divisions or anything.
I can't believe how many people take the regular season so seriously, and when it
matters.
means nothing.
It matters to the teams that are trying to make the play. Like a team like Columbus, the regular season meant something.
Right.
Because they've made the playoffs twice in their history, and it means something to them.
Right.
But it's just not.
It's like a qualifying.
It's like the Patriots. The NFL regular season means something, not to the Patriots. They play in that stinky division. It's like I always say, somebody has to finish second in the AFC.
Right. Jeez. And this past weekend, I visited Baltimore and D.C. It was a good trip. I give it an A.
I have never been to D.C., but I have been to Baltimore. Did you go to Camden Yards?
Yeah.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
It's no Memorial Stadium, but
small.
Went walked around RFK for an hour on Saturday, and I was impressed, like all the memories and all the history there, and who actually walked on this ground also, over the years, and it was kind of neat.
Now, do you know, is RFK municipally owned?
I don't know what
to own it, because I'm surprised it's still standing. I don't know what they.
There's soccer there, minor league, college, and
I think they might have a.
Yeah, DC United plays there.
Oh, that's minor. That's.
And I think Maryland and Navy football do some kind of training camp there.
Okay.
And when you approach it, like when you drive towards it, it's like 2 times as big as Three River Stadium was, and it's all concrete.
Well, it's right up there on Capitol Hill, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like you go towards it, and it's like double the size of Three Rivers.
That's big.
Yeah.
Why?
It's like huge, and you see some not stains, but stains on it.
Well, that would have been built in the 60s then. The Senators played in it, and the Redskins played in it. And
they didn't have anything there stating like, or I didn't see anything like.
If it was a landmark or something, that's
I'd
why
have to look it up. Yeah.
The reason it would still be there, because land's hard to come by in DC, and you would think that with all the government buildings and things around it, it kind of almost reminds me of Oakland. That anytime there's a small amount of space, Pitt buys it up. That you would think that in a case like that maybe DC would want to have it to.
Yeah, and it seemed like when you walk around, there's like areas you can like look in and see, like their square clock that they had, that one end zone, and and you can see the soccer lines on the field, and it's still in the same, good shape. So, it seems so normal and
A lot of history in there.
yeah, it seems so normal and none of the nonsense that you see today in the new stadiums.
The football stadiums now
Or
are just enormous. I mean, you think about big. You could fit. Now, did you know
Yeah.
that in Houston, you could fit the Astrodome inside Reliance Stadium?
Probably.
Not probably. There's no doubt about that.
I know the new Meadowlands is bigger
You can
than
fit,
the old
you
one.
remember how big the Astrodome was?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you could take the Astrodome and literally fit it inside of Reliance
Right.
Stadium right next door. That's how big the new
Right.
stadiums are. And on the trip to Florida, I see Charlotte.
Right.
Went to the Yankee game in Tampa and saw the new Sombrero.
Right.
Paul, that place is like twice the size of Heinz Field.
I don't know. It's just
It's huge.
We went by.
The amount of land taken. There's not much going on down there in Tampa where the stadium is.
Right.
It's basically restaurants and strip clubs.
The
Basically
Nationals
what it
Park in FedEx Field. I don't know. To me, showing my age, it didn't do anything for me. But I enjoyed going down there. But RFK and Camden Yards, that was.
Now you saw the Ravens stadium is right next to.
Yeah, right next to there.
Camden Yards, but it
Right.
doesn't seem like it's as enormous as some of these other ones. I'm talking about from
Right.
the outside the footprint. of the actual-
Right, yeah, but RFK impressed me and Camden Yards, but
I like Camden
1 and 2, so
That was a nice place to watch a ball. game.
yeah,
Enjoyed it.
wasn't too bad. So yeah, I'm eligible for a prize this week.
Paul
So
is ineligible.
When I was looking up
okay,
NBA salaries for this past season,
LeBron.
how much more did Miami pay out as a team
Okay.
compared to who just beat them?
No, I would assume that
Take a guess.
Miami would be right up against the cap, whatever the cap is that Miami would have spent max.
Well, they did outspend San
Antonio,
Antonio.
I wouldn't say by a whole lot. It would be less than $10 million.
I have no
20.
idea.
Really that much?
20.
Well, here's the
$20
difference.
million gap.
And here's the
between-
difference. The difference is that the role players on San Antonio are younger. That you have Duncan, Manu, and Parker would be making big bucks, and they have been around for a very long time, and they've won a bunch of rings. But if you go down to their second level of guys, the Kawhi Leonards, and Danny Green, and the fellow out of St. Mary's, I can't remember his name, Patty Mills. Those guys are all young players playing on cheap contracts right now. And not only did they play for less money, but they also played better than the veteran role players did on Miami that are making more money that paid high to go there, and they completely disappeared on LeBron, and he didn't have any help.
Guys, we got to take a break. Mike
Thanks,
and I will
Paul.
be back. We're going to wrap things up here momentarily. Stay with us. We'll be back in.
Ernie's Tavern on Brackenridge Avenue in Brackenridge has 225 Budweiser and Bud Light bottles every Tuesday and Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Stop by Ernie's Tavern and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones. Then along came the Michelin Man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Drive longer with the Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile limited warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
Mogi's Irish Pub on Leechburg Road in Lower Borough has 16-ounce Bud Light aluminum bottles for just $2.50 during all Pirates games. Stop at Mogi's Irish Pub on Leechburg Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
And here we go with the Pirate schedule for the week.
Quickly, wanted to get this in. That we said that of these 26 games against teams under 500, except for the Marlins, that the Pirates needed to win 18 of those, and I had hoped for 20. So they've gone 5-2 the first week. Now this week they have 3 games at home against Cincinnati and 3 games at Chicago this weekend. So, that's what is in the mirror there. And then the road trip continues with 3 in Tampa the week after that, and then they come home for homestand. So they need to keep this going. They're playing well, but they just can't seem to get out of their own way. It's almost like, Bob, one phase of the game is kind of coming up to bite them. Like sometimes now the starters are straightened out, and now the bullpen's going through a rough patch.
Oh, boy.
But they're hitting. They're hitting pretty, for the most part. They're not so much yesterday, but Henderson Alvarez is a great pitcher. But it's like if they could just all put it all together, there's like a winning streak in there somewhere, and it's like they just can't seem to get to that.
And giving up the late inning big hits didn't help us out either.
That's very unusual for that bullpen because it's usually Grilly. Grilly shouldn't be anywhere from past the 7th inning. I don't even want to look at him. But the Melanson was he's been pretty solid, and Tony Watson's been great, and you can hardly blame him. He's entitled to have one bad one, but they need to get that straightened out. They got 3 big games against Cincinnati here that they need to win 2 of them.
There was a report I put together, and I know we're running out of time, just for the heck of it. Big spenders, the Los Angeles Dodgers, #1 with the team payroll amount for this current baseball season.
They're not doing well.
They are spending $235 million.
Hello.
Are 3 games above 500, but in second place to San Francisco, who is spending $80 million less, and they're ahead of the Dodgers by, is it 16 games?
No, it's not that many, but it's 7 or 8 games, I think.
Okay.
The Giants aren't.
Let me get down to the smaller spenders. Miami, would you believe? 48 million, 2 games above 500 in second place. Oakland, 83 million, 15 games above 500, first place obviously. Milwaukee at 104 million, 12 games above 500, first place. The bottom spenders are not doing too bad.
No, they're not. We talked about it for years when we tried to get the Pirates into the playoffs once, which we finally did. I feel like I accomplished something there.
Yep.
And that is that, teams like the Pirates, a team every year, a low spender does make it. So it can be done, and it is done every year.
Yep.
But just don't back it up too often,
Okay, root for the Buccos, keep them coming, and you're going to be okay with soccer.
With the game, yeah, it's 1-0. The Americans are leading at halftime, and Clint Dempsey stayed in even though they busted his nose up, and Josie Altidore got carted off. So that's not good. They can't afford to lose players because they're really not that good.
And they added on 5 minutes.
They added on 5. Bob and I, with our arbitrary extra time, we said, okay, run the clock backwards and stop it when somebody gets
I don't understand.
Why can't they do
soccer, that? I mean, these are modern times.
And it's arbitrary. How do you know if the ref seems to like the team that's losing? He says and gives them 5 minutes instead of 3. I have to pick a number out of the air. Okay, we'll give you 3 extra minutes to play.
Ooh. Yeah, don't like it.
I don't like that
Too
either.
much.
I like
too much room for shenanigans.
Okay, there's a lot of shenanigans in soccer.
All right, folks,
It's
we're
not
back.
football. Football is an American sport.
We are back a week from today.
We will be here.
And we'll kick around a few more things. Hope that
maybe we want to get into our
to
the Mount Rushmore thing here that
we
had.
Venkat, real quick.
We really wanted to get to, and people can do this as your homework. 4 people to be on Mount Rushmore in Pittsburgh sports, and with the death of Chuck Noll, this had come up, and I wanted to give it a little bit more time. I wanted to think about it. Maybe we can.
We'll do that next week.
Do it next week.
Okay, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Bob Tattern here.
Mike Ballard.
And good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.